following show, The Best of Adam and Joe, is a pre-recorded highlights programme.
Adam and Joe. Six Music on Radio 2.
Hello, my name's Adam.
Hey, this is Joe.
We're Adam and Joe.
You might remember us from TV in the late 90s and the early noughties, or you might have heard our radio show on BBC Six Music, or alternatively, you might not know who the heck we are.
If that is the case, we hope that we're going to put things right with this special compilation show from our last 14 months on Six Music, which we have created especially for you Radio 2 listeners.
We hope you enjoy it.
Hello and welcome to the big British castle. It's time for Adam and Joe to broadcast on the radio. There'll be some music and some random talking in between, and then eventually the whole thing will just end.
Text the nation. Text the nation.
What if I don't want to?
Text the nation.
But I'm using email. Is that a problem?
It doesn't matter, text.
Yes, it's Text the Nation time.
We stole this off Danny Baker.
Yeah, he invented it, and we're the second show to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry if it's frightening or confusing in any way. The subject of Text the Nation this week is juvenilia.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff you authored when you were a kiddie. I don't know about you, but I was quite a precocious child.
Brat.
Didn't know my limits.
Yeah.
Reckoned myself as a bit of an auteur. And I think maybe a lot of other listeners out there were the same. So I'm talking, listeners, about things you self-published or authored when you were a child. For instance, I was very keen on comics. I decided to launch my own comic in my household,
Right.
which consisted of my mum and dad and my brother.
Yeah.
Thought that was a perfect readership. It was called Foxy. I didn't know the connotations of that word. It was just had a kind of a fox, a gentleman fox. And I drew every copy by hand.
So it was actually about a fox man.
Yeah, that was the lead character.
Right.
Foxy. And I think it had letters and puzzles and stuff. The letters might have been quite pointed complaints about my brother messing up my room and stuff. Then when I got a bit older, I got a bit obsessed with Tintin and stuff like that. So I invented a character called Foggo.
Foggo.
And he was like a boy detective. And he went round the world and he had a series of novels. I used to laminate them using sellotape. You know, because I couldn't afford actual see-through sticky back plastic, so I just wrap sellotape round them very carefully.
Have you still got
aligning.
Foggo? Because now, of course, the top layer would have peeled off and there's just yellow crust under.
Yeah, that happens.
Right.
But I think my mum still has Foggo's Adventures.
Imagine how much a first edition of Foggo would
Imagine.
be. Or Foxy.
Well, they're very limited. I think Foxy's lost. There may be one copy of Foxy in the
Forbidden
British
Planet.
Museum.
Do you reckon?
In the British Museum.
In the British Museum,
Yes.
not Forbidden Planet.
No.
No.
And then after that, when I got a bit older, maybe 11, I tried to write a Frederick Forsyth-style thriller.
Was it sexy at all?
It may have had an erotic scene. In fact, that may have been where it ended, because I couldn't get beyond it.
Get
I
beyond
couldn't
the
concentrate.
sauciness.
It was called The Jigsaw Man.
Oh, hey, that's a real film, though, isn't
Very
it?
possibly. I thought that was a brilliant idea.
That's a good
The
idea.
opening scene was on an oil rig, and a man is murdered on the oil rig, and all he's murdered for is an envelope containing a piece of a jigsaw. Isn't that brilliant?
That is
it brilliant?
Yeah.
I thought it was at the time.
good.
Here's one from Steve Curran. He says, when I was about 5 or 6, I attempted to produce a series of Action Force-inspired comic books. His Action Force-inspired comic book was called, open quotes, capital letters, Stephen! Exclamation mark, close quotes. Brackets, naturally, I was the hero. That's a good idea for a book. I have a vivid memory of being halfway through drawing the title page for one edition when I was called into the next room to have my dinner. No doubt with the word, Stephen! Which is less action-packed. When I returned, I discovered that my older brother had made his own contribution to the page, completing the half-written title STEP with In Poo. Step in poo. Very clever, but I still haven't quite forgiven him. Yours, Steve Curran.
That would have been
from
good.
Highbury.
And the Stephen had an exclamation mark, right, at the end?
Yeah, that series of films would rival the Bond films.
And the Bourne films as well.
And the Bourne films.
Matt Damon is Stephen. And you could have like a lightning strike for the S.
When
in
people
Stephen.
got in trouble, they would shout, Stephen! Yes! That would be one of the scenes.
Stephen! Yes!
I'm in trouble!
Okay!
Hang on!
Just
I'm
coming.
coming! Exclamation mark. I think you should keep the film rights available for that, Steve.
Stephen!
His friends call him Steve.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so don't expect him to be called Stephen all the way through the film.
Well, that ruins it, doesn't it?
My name's Stephen, but you can call me Steve.
Ooh. Well, no, that's just maybe for the sex scenes.
Right. But there are a lot of... I've noticed there are a lot of sex scenes in Stephen. There's an unusual amount.
It's absolutely filthy.
He spends more time having sex than solving problems.
Stephen.
It's one of the interesting things about it as a franchise.
Oh, Stephen.
Oh, Stephen.
Stephen.
Stephen! Oh, dear.
It's time for Song Wars, the war of the songs. A couple of tunes by a couple of prongs. Which will you vote for? Which one is the best? We're putting our songs to the listener test, so check it out.
Yes, it's Song Wars time. This is the part of the show when we pick a theme, and then each week Adam and I write a song on that theme, and then we battle our song through the medium of listener votes.
So, it's Bond songs, or more specifically, Quantum of Solace songs.
Very exciting.
How much do you know about the film?
Quite a bit.
Oh, really? And
Well,
did you...
actually, not that much. I know that it continues the story from the previous one, which I'm not happy with.
Uh-huh.
I like Bond to be freestanding adventures.
Right.
With a different silly nutball every time.
As if anyone can remember what the story was in the last one,
Something
anyway.
about a Vespa.
Something about men chasing each other,
Slapping each other's
shooting,
muscly faces.
and a bit of torture.
Heads or tails?
I'm calling heads to play mine first.
Okay, if it's heads, yours is played first.
Yeah,
This is exciting. It is heads.
Ooh.
I'm working for the Brits. I've got cars and guns and gadgets. I've got ladies with big brains. I've got licenses to kill. I've got licenses to fish. I've got sexy suits and air miles. But here's my biggest wish. I'd like a quantum of solace, but no more than a quantum. I know they do big bags of solace, but I don't want them. I only want a teeny tiny slice of solace before I shoot you. Bottom location chase, bottom location chase, shooting dirty baddies in the busy foreign street. Bottom location chase, bottom location chase, running all around and now I've really hurt my feet. Ow.
So, Mr. Bond.
Yes, hello.
You want to stop me?
I do want to stop you, yes, but only if it's exciting. I met a lovely lady, but found out she was a rotter. So we exchanged some saucy quips. I snogged her, then I shot her. But I felt quite bad because I'm such a modern complex guy. Sometimes this job gets to you, and maybe that is why I'd like a quantum of solace, but no more than a quantum. I know they do big bags of solace, but I don't want them. I only want a teeny tiny slice of solace before I shoot you. Quantum of solace, I'm saying the name of the film over the music. Quantum of solace, I did it again just there.
I think we will meet again, Mr. Bond.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like a very scary villain.
No, he's not.
Bond doesn't sound like his heart's in it either.
He's quite tired. He's been at the gym all day.
It's only 10 minutes after the last one.
Exactly, he's absolutely exhausted.
So, you're going there with quantum as a measure of quantity, right?
Is that not what it is?
In physics, a quantum, plural, quanta, I'm not reading this, is an indivisible entity of a quantity that has the same units as the Planck constant and is related both to energy and momentum of elementary particles of matter called fermions. The word comes from the Latin quantus, for how much. So it's actually an indivisible entity of quantity. So it's a very small amount.
very small.
I don't know that you could go into a newsagent and ask for a quantum of pear drops.
You could, surely.
Could you?
Absolutely.
What
you
would the reply be? Do they even sell... Do they decant sweets like that anymore? Maybe in country towns.
Yeah, they would have little tiny jars.
Yeah, tiny, just one pear drop.
You just
in a little
shavings
jar.
of pear drops. Yeah. A Quantum of Pear Drop. What else is it about? What's the title? I mean, you read synopses of the film on the internet, and there's no mention of Solace or Quantum.
Oh, he's just very lonely.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was trying to get at, you see.
That was good, though. He has a license to fish.
Yeah. I was going to make loads of license jokes. Let's hear yours.
And Air Miles. I like the Air Miles reference because that's an aspect of Bond you don't hear about a lot.
No.
He must really top them up.
Well, he must have loads. He gets into all the lounges.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Misbehaves there. Kills people and makes a mess. So that's Quantum of Solace, song number 1. And is that being offered to the makers of the film for use if the Jack White and Alicia Keys thing falls through?
Well, actually, they called me last night.
Did they?
Yeah. And they said that they would like to use it.
That's funny. What time did they call you?
They called me at 9:15.
They called me at 9:20 and said that they'd spoken to you, but they'd subsequently heard the song and thought it was plops. That was the word.
They used the word plops?
Used. Yeah, it was Cubby Broccoli.
That's a bit harsh.
They thought a Buxton song plops. It's plops. Is that how Cubby Broccoli speaks?
He may have done when he was alive, but I think he's the late Cubby Broccoli. You would be talking to his widow now.
Really?
She's the one that deals with the franchise.
I was talking to him via a Ouija board. Yeah, this was a seance, not on the
Play
phone.
your song.
Okay, here's the song. This is Quantum of Solace, song number 2. He's got a gun and great big man tits. He's got jug ears and tiny trunks. Dame Judi Dench is furious with him. He's gone completely out to lunch. The quantum of solace. I don't know what that means. What does it mean? He's having flashbacks in black and white. No more raised eyebrows, no more quips. He's got the stunt team from the Bourne films and lots of product sponsorship. The Phantom of Qualis. Did I get it confused? I got it mixed up. He's nearly dead, no really nearly. It's much more gritty than before. No silly gadgets, just lots more fighting with that French bloke that does parkour. The thingy of something of Boris. I forgot what it's called. Is that what it was? Sometimes I wish Roger Moore would come back with an underwater car or some kind of jetpack, or a hover gondola and a Union Jack. Forget it, mate, it's not the 80s. He'd rather kick you in the face. We've got a new Bond for the noughties, because the world's a terrible place. The Quantum of Solace. I've written it down. Remember it now.
Wow.
There we go. Song number 2. Mine was a bit less silly than yours.
What?
I don't know.
I went for a classic You Only Live Twice style era Bond.
I was more like Bowie via Madonna. Did that come across at all?
No. But that's good. That's going to win, I think.
You never can tell.
You never can tell. But listen, let's have some more real music now.
This is the Big British Castle broadcasting on the Radio 2 frequency. You're listening to pre-recorded highlights of the Adam and Joe radiogram.
You know, I found my books of CD singles during the week. I used to buy quite a lot of CD singles and we've put them in. Do you do that at all organisationally? How do you do your CDs? They're on shelves in alphabetical order, are they?
They're not enough. They're by genre.
By genre?
Yeah.
And not alphabetically ordered within the genre?
No.
Do you find it easy to find things that way?
Yeah.
The CD singles are in those weird books, zip-up, filey books.
Yeah.
And, man, it was a real treasure trove.
Absolutely treasure trove.
Of stuff that I haven't listened to for ages. And luckily I found a whole lot of hip-hop that is in radio edits. Clean versions. Because as a hip-hop fan, I find it difficult to select stuff to play because of all the swearing.
Swearing, bad language.
Yes, bad language and very nasty about ladies.
No, the way I do it organisationally is I've got them on shelves, and the ones I like most I've got at head height.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, sort of like a newsagent's.
Exactly.
Are the filthier ones on the top shelf?
Yeah, the absolute filth is on the top shelf, generally like the dance music that I felt compelled to buy in the past and just never listened to. I've got that, like all the Goa trance compilations.
What's at foot level?
Foot level is compilations that friends have made for me, and
you don't
also
like your friends
no, I
very
do.
much.
I just like crawling.
Ah, you like to crawl
Love
to your
crawl.
friends. To
Every now and
ingratiate
again,
yourself.
when I fall over, I just think, "Oh, look, there's that compilation." Also, I've got soundtracks down there, film soundtracks.
That's not very respectful.
Sound effects CDs. Listen, I use these a lot, but
My soundtracks are at the top.
are they?
Yeah, they tend to gravitate upwards, the classical music and the soundtracks.
Right.
Because they're haughty. They're high art.
Yeah.
My bottom shelf would be CD singles and video games.
No, CD singles I've got on the very top shelf, along with
Really?
Goa Trance, yeah.
CD singles.
CD singles on
My
the top
CD
shelf.
singles are on the top shelf.
Listen, are we going to do any Textination
That
stuff?
wasn't a racist accent, by the way. It was just...
Where would it be
You've got to
from?
be careful. From a place where I'm about to
CD singles. That was, excuse me, I heard you say the other week. I thought it was very racist to people from a country. Where is your country?
I don't know, it's called Serbia.
Serbia now, is it?
No, Serbia.
Oh, Serbia.
Yes.
You're not nowhere near Serbia. Serbia.
We should do... Is that what you were getting at? We should do some Textinations.
Let's do some after this next track, why not?
Ben, our producer, you didn't find that amusing at all. You were just looking worried and bored during that.
You're listening to previously broadcast highlights from the Adam and Joe radio show.
Textination. Text.
Yes, Textination this week, listeners, is all about terrible disasters you've had when trying to communicate with people on the telling phone.
That's right. Have you ever had any butt call problems?
Do you mean, what are they called? Slash calls?
You know,
Sash calls?
I call them butt calls because if you, if a person has their phone in their back pocket and they accidentally sit down on it and it dials somebody's number, and then you've got like a direct line through to that person as they just wander around.
Yeah, my mum does that a lot.
Right, and because I
quite like it. It's live from inside her handbag.
It's nice, isn't it?
And sometimes you get little snippets of, have you got that in blue?
Yes. My son, he's on BBC Six Music. He's a disgrace. I'm so ashamed of him. Thank you very much. Bye.
You think that's what my mummy would say?
Yeah.
How rude.
How very rude.
How rude.
I've never heard anything salacious on a butt call, though, and I often listen. I sit there and listen for minutes and minutes before hanging up, just hoping that something
Really?
sexy will happen. The most fruity thing I ever heard was someone having an argument with their girlfriend while they were looking for a house.
Well, listen, you might be preempting stuff that people have sent in.
Okay, let's have a listen.
In fact, that story might be better than what's been sent in, but it's not, because there's some great stuff being sent
Brilliant,
in.
man. You got out of
Thanks,
that
man.
really well.
Yeah. Okay, here's one from Clarkey in Liverpool. I phoned my mutually childish friend whilst on my lunch, and without giving him a chance to say hello, I did an impersonation of Ben Kingsley from Sexy Beast, quoting that particularly offensive line. Which particularly offensive
There's
line?
a lot
They're
in
all
there,
offensive. This was followed by a pregnant pause on the end of the line. He said he would phone me back. He later told me that he was in his car with his wife's parents, and my phone call diverted through his speakers for all to hear.
Oh, bad one.
Bad one, Clarkey.
That happens. You know, a thing that often happens is when a person obviously assumes they're going to be speaking to someone if you phone their mobile and someone else picks it up. My dad, sometimes, when I phone his mobile, sometimes he thinks it's other people and he'll do a funny voice.
No,
For that
what'll he do?
person. He'll just suddenly go out completely out of character. You know, because you reserve, like, sometimes for your family members, you would never do a funny voice. Well, that's the way it works in my family.
Right.
I don't know about yours. But with my family, I'm very formal and I'm very straight, okay? But with a friend, obviously, I'd be crazy and goofy and do funny voices. And so sometimes the boundaries slip a little. And if you get busted by a member of your family doing a funny voice, like I'll phone up my dad, he'll think it's one of his mates or whatever, and he'll be like, hello, who's that calling?
No.
Like, oh, hi, Daddy, it's me, it's Adam.
And he'll be all embarrassed.
And he'll be like, hello, Adam.
Oh, that's a bit sad. Why does he feel he can't be relaxed and convivial and jovial with
It's
you?
his fault. He established the parameters.
It's not his fault. It's the time that he was raised.
Maybe.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Here is one from Bertel Hogan in Kingston. Brackets 10 points to the one who can pronounce my name correctly. Do you want to have a go?
Let's have a look here.
Bertel Hogan.
Oh, this is easily.
That's right.
Bertel Haugen. Bertel Haugen.
Let us know who gets the 10 points.
Bertel Haugen.
Hello, Adam and Joe. My mum has a tendency to accidentally phone people from her mobile. She was once in the car with my dad, and they were talking about how irresponsible my younger brother is. They were being quite forthright and maybe a little mean. Unbeknownst to her, she'd accidentally phoned the brother, and he was listening to the whole conversation on his mobile.
So I'm glad that really happens in real life, because you see it in films sometimes and it doesn't necessarily ring true.
That's alarming. The idea of one's parents discussing one, even when one... Am I saying one too much?
No, you're like the Queen. That's good.
Even when one is an adult is disturbing. I mean, I remember as a kid in my bedroom, my parents had the bedroom beneath me, being able to hear them going... And I would be, oh God, what are they saying? What have I done? No, what do they think of me? Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, man.
So that's the sort of modern telephone equivalent. But with the...
This thing just started. I mean, he looks like a resistant. Do you think Joe's gay? I think he must be gay. Maybe I should send him to his fish. He's very phone it.
Why are you laughing at? You're laughing at something. No one understands what you're saying.
I don't know. I can't even... I'm laughing because I can't even do the floorboard thing because I'm laughing so much. No, okay, just...
I bet you that is a conversation they had about my hair.
Well, it's the bands he likes. It's those new romantic bands. He's put like sun in the big streak of peroxide.
Oh, we're going to have to play some music. I'm a bit helpless.
Adam and Joe. 6 Music. On Radio 2.
I've been enjoying a lot of audiobooks recently.
Yeah, well, we know you can't read.
Yeah,
so that
true.
follows.
That is true. You know, I can read to myself, I just
Can
like
you?
to say.
I don't mean that.
The great thing about an audiobook is that imaginative element is still very much intact, you know.
And they're lovely when they're read by the author.
Yeah.
I noticed I was recommending to you the Steve Martin autobiography, Born Standing Up. It's a brilliant little book. And I notice you've got it there on audiobook.
Yeah, you recommended that to me, and that's one of the best audiobooks that I have purchased. It's really great. I mean, he's obviously a talented actor, Steve Martin, so he does his book, which is very well written as well.
He's a good comedian as well.
Total Justice, and it's amazingly good. It's such a brilliant dissection of the comedian's art. I've got Alex James's book, Bit of a Blur, which is enjoyable. He's not such a good reader.
Isn't he? Does he lose interest?
Well, he's got that sort of slightly drunk way of talking, and sometimes he doesn't do his own stuff.
It's a feat of concentration, and breathing's quite difficult when you read for a long period. You can get yourself slightly dizzy and sort of mildly hyperventilate.
Yeah, and he plunges into the whole business of doing accents for different people. So when he's reporting dialogue from other characters in his life in the book, he'll just do an accent for them.
Well, this is an interesting area, isn't it? Because it's taken as read if you're reading a story to a child. You'll bring it to life by doing all the voices and the accents.
Yeah, that's half the fun.
Yeah, exactly. But as you get older and the subjects of the books you read become more mature, do you still do the voices?
Yeah, surely.
Do you think so? Is that the case in most of the audiobooks? Are people still doing funny voices?
Michael Palin, in his diaries, which I would also recommend, they're fascinating, the Python years, in the audiobook there, he doesn't do any accents as far as I'm aware.
It's a shame.
It's a shame, but you don't miss it, because, I mean, he's such a good reader anyway. He makes the whole thing come to life without needing to do the accents. But with Alex James, for example, the tone is quite silly and over the top and frivolous anyway, so a daft Mancunian accent that he will do for someone doesn't seem that out of place. But I was also listening to John Sessions reading Armageddon by Max Hastings, which is all about the battle for Germany, 1944 to 45, a historical account of that period in Germany's history, and, serious stuff. But John Sessions throws himself wholeheartedly from quite an early stage into doing impressions of many of the key players, right? And he's obviously a very gifted impressionist, John Sessions. So it's not a stretch for him. But it's quite a shock when you first start hearing him do it because you don't expect it. Here's an example. This is an American accent that he does for one of the people that's not famous, and here's Sessions doing the accent.
Trooper John Thorpe wrote in his diary, "Jerry gives himself up to us in a cabbage field. The water is running out of his clothes. He's covered in mud and shaking with cold and fright.
That's like one of these sort of anonymous accents. Trooper John Thorpe is not a famous person per se, so he's just going for a generic American accent there. But then other characters are more well known, and he does not shy away from ascribing the correct accent. For example, here's Churchill.
Churchill dissented. He wrote to the Joint Intelligence Committee.
It is at least as likely that Hitler will be fighting on the 1st of January as it is that he will collapse before then.
I mean, it turns him into a bit of a caricature, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Is this a serious book, the tone of this?
It's very serious.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good Churchill impression. You can't take away from it.
But it's not very difficult. But it's not hard to do a Churchill impression. And it's not something that you would necessarily do in the middle of a serious book.
Now, who was that?
That was Johnny Churchill, Churchill's
Jimmy
friend.
Cranky.
So here's another one right now, and this is for Bill Deeds, in fact, the journalist who was also fighting in the Second World War.
This is still Sessions doing an impression of Deeds.
This is Sessions doing Deeds, yeah.
In those days, we knew so little about the Russians,
said Major William Deeds of 12th King's Royal Rifle Corps.
We were much more interested in listening to Vera Lynn on the radio.
Bill Deeds was known for his kind of slurry speech, apparently.
So these are informed impressions.
Yes.
I mean, Sessions knows how these people speak, and he's doing a kind of informed.
Yes, he does.
Pastiche.
But again, if it's like a person who isn't so well known, whose accent is not as well known as, say, Churchill or Bill Deeds or whatever, he still has a go at the accent.
Is not the distinction that if you want your programme to be taken seriously, like Wallander, you dispense with all accents, even though it's a massive suspension of disbelief. If you want your programme or your fiction to be taken not seriously, like, say, the comedy series Allo, Allo, everybody speaks like this.
That's right.
And so that's the mistake he's made,
He's somewhere in between, though, because his accents are good, you know? I mean, he is...
Yeah, but I'm saying accents are per se stupid.
Right.
There is not, you can't do an accent and not be slightly stupid.
Well, he's sort of agrees with you, because when it comes to the Germans, he doesn't do an accent. So what's all that? So, like, he does accents for the British and the Americans, and
why does he not do German accents?
Why not the German? So here he is talking about Sergeant Helmut Gunther, not a well-known person, but just a member of the German army there.
Sergeant Helmut Gunther said, "We were amazed that it took the Allies so long to engage us. We were utterly exhausted. Yet we were given the chance to catch our breath and regroup at Metz."
Not even bothering with that one. And here's another one, Frau Keuchel, he talks about, just a German lady.
Frau Keuchel wrote to her husband, "It is dreadful to realize that Tommy is coming nearer every hour. Here people are full of fears."
She's softer because she's a lady.
Exactly.
Yes.
And she is worried. She's full of fears. So he's not even going there with the accent. That's a shame, don't you think? I was excited about the German accents.
It is a bit of a shame, but it does back up my point, don't you think?
I don't know. I think there's a way of doing it. I had a stab, and I think I did a very tasteful job of it. Here's Helmut Gunther, my way.
Sergeant Helmut Gunther said,
"We were amazed that it took the Allies so long to engage us. We were utterly exhausted, yet we were given the chance to regroup and catch our breath at Metz."
Why is he so excited about Metz?
Because he's a bit of a baddie.
Is he? You know more than Sessions does about this guy.
I do. Did a bit of research. He's a bit of a baddie, and he was very excited about Metz. That's the way he talked. And this is how I would do Frau Keuchel.
Frau Keuchel wrote to her husband,
"It is dreadful to realize that Tommy is coming nearer every hour. People are full of fears."
Well, she sounds less feminine than Sessions.
Yeah.
She sounds like maybe
she was a very manly woman.
Was she? She was an hairy woman.
Here's a little sting just so you know. This is a compilation show filled with little bits of Adam and Joe.
I'm Adam.
I'm Joe, and we're excited to be announced that the BBC have recently rehired us. They've renewed our contract, so we're going to be here for another year.
Yeah, we're delighted.
It's very exciting. But it's made me think that we should maybe raise our game a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was listening to Steve Wright the other day. And he's a very professional and seasoned DJ, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got his 10,000 hours in, though.
One of the things that, differentiates him from us...
One of the many things.
...is that he never says...
Does he not say and ah?
He doesn't and ah.
Right.
If you listen to Steve Wright, he seems to know what he's going to say. And he says it with no ambiguity or dilly-dallying.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not very good at that.
He might script some of his stuff, though.
Do you think?
Possibly.
well, maybe we should start scripting. I just think we and ah a lot.
Well, we do, but that's because we're thinking off the top of our very small brains.
But don't you think more professional DJs are better at talkings?
There's no question. We're never going to be one of the greats. We're never going to be at the level of Nicky Campbell.
It used to annoy your brother, didn't it?
Yes.
The amount that we and ah.
That's funny that it's stuck in your head. Well, someone as well once sent me a mini disc where they had edited out all the ums and ahs from our show.
No.
And left just the ums and ahs in and got rid of everything else.
No.
It was just a lot. It went on for about 5 minutes.
Did it?
Yeah. I think he'd done it like it was just a listener, you know, it was not someone I knew. I think he'd done it because he thought we might find it amusing. But it was like a corkscrew to my heart.
Well, expose your heart, because I've tried it as well.
Oh, have you?
I took a 15-minute section of one of our podcasts.
Oh, no.
And just left the ums and ahs.
Right.
Do you want to hear it?
All right, then.
This is how many we do in 15 minutes of broadcasting.
Just 15?
Yeah. You know,
that's almost a symphony. You could make a really good song out of that.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Would it sound a bit like this? You know, you know,
this is Adam and Joe here on BBC Six Music.
And,
there we go.
And, that's not dissimilar to the Timmy Mallet song.
It's a lot better than Biff Baff Boff, I'm
Do you
ashamed to
think?
say, yeah.
It's got stronger lyrics.
That's very good. And did you have to change the pitch of any of those ums and ahs to make them fit there?
Nope.
No, it's musical, though. At least our umming and ahhing has some kind of tuneful quality to it.
Do you think?
It's not just,
You know, I think we shouldn't be ashamed of it. We should be proud of it. We should make it one of our trademarks.
The thing is that once you start thinking about it, if you start worrying about things like that, it's going to get much worse.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Once you make it conscious?
I noticed that. I know I do that a lot.
There you go. You do that. That was really noticeable. You do the tut.
Yeah.
Also, I say really?
Yeah.
A lot.
I say yeah.
And you know...
Sure, you've got to have these little punctuation
have your
points.
Props, it's true.
Otherwise you're nowhere. Yeah?
Yeah. Let's have another record. This record is, what is it?
Is this James Brown?
Night Train.
Yeah. I got a Christmas card, my first Christmas card this week.
Wowzer.
And it said on it, Happy Season.
Right, because it might be insulting to someone of a non-Jesus worshipping
someone secular.
Persuasion.
You know, if someone is passionately
Happy
secular
Season.
and they get a card that says Happy Christmas, just the seeing the word, the name Christ. Don't
dare you!
Don't put that in my face with a robin underneath. How dare you! You've ruined my season with just reminding me about that whole thing in the barn. How dare you! I'm going to phone them up later on and complain.
I'm taking this card, I'm taking it to the person who sent it to me, and I'm going to shove it down their throat!
I'm going to tear up the pieces of your Christmas card, and I'm going to make you eat them! To teach you a lesson that I don't want to be reminded about him all the time!
I hate you!
I hate you!
Scrappy-Doo!
You've offended me! I hate you! So, luckily that didn't happen, because they just put Happy Season.
Man, that was quite cathartic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
You're listening to previously broadcast highlights from the Adam and Joe radio show.
So, like many people in Great Britain this week, I went to see the new Bond film, Quantum of Solace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Oh, is it, though?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Not boring.
I've still got my reservations. I'd like some more quippage and gadgetry and a little more sleeping with lady action.
Sure.
Because he doesn't do a lot of that. Because he's in a terrible huff. Because his girlfriend Vesper got killed in the last one.
Right.
But
he doesn't snog the lovely woman.
He doesn't snog the lovely Russian lady, no. Oh. He sort of... it insinuates that he snogs Gemma... What's her name from St. Trinian's?
Gemma Craven.
Gemma Craven Cottage. Yes.
Yeah.
He does. Not. Yes, he does.
Oh, he does not. Good. Okay.
That clear? But do you remember in the first film, there was a little bit of celebrity cameage? Is that a word?
No.
It's sort of a celebrity cameo combined with product placement.
Right.
Richard Branson appeared, didn't he, in the first one? Do you remember?
Yeah.
And he sort of stuck out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm. He is a sore thumb.
Well, in this one, there's more Virgin Atlantic Branson-style product plug-in.
Really?
Yeah, Bond flies from somewhere to somewhere, I'm not sure where. But he flies in Virgin Atlantic in first class. And there's a scene at the bar with quite a prominent logo behind him.
Yeah.
And a sort of Virgin man serving cocktails.
And it's Branson.
It's not Branson, no, but the Branson's not in there, but the logo heavily is. And I think there's even a little shot of Bond, or maybe Felix is on the plane as well. I can't remember. There's another character on the plane lying in their little first-class beds. And it got me thinking how James Bond would actually behave in first class.
Right.
Do you think you'd know if you were flying that a secret agent was sitting next to you? Would there be telltale signs? He's very well dressed. I think he's in quite a lovely pressed shirt and tie while he's on the plane. That would be the first standout thing.
Well, if it was a real guy, I mean, surely this is what Roger Moore was saying, though, the other day, is that one of the ludicrous things about the whole Bond franchise is that he advertises his presence so much wherever he goes.
Well, the Virgin Atlantic bartender gives him a cocktail, and he gives you the instructions, the ingredients for the cocktail, the recipe.
Yeah.
So it's sort of saying that he's an excellent bartender, and it's also classic James Bond to drink his silly martini.
Shaken, not stirred.
What movies do you think he would watch?
He would almost certainly watch Fool's Gold, though, wouldn't he?
Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surely he'd flick around.
He likes a bit of escapism. Do you think he might watch the first film just to catch up with what he's thinking? With his situation?
Do you think he'd watch... I think he'd watch... the whole series of Gavin and Stacey.
Right, just to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got behind at a couple of dinner parties.
Maybe a bit of Rob Brydon's Annually Retentive.
Do you think he's good in that kind of conversation, Bond? Talking about the latest TV show. Do you think he's seen The Wire? Is he up to date with The Wire and 24?
I think he loves The Wire.
Does he?
He thinks it's the best series on TV. Almost certainly.
He's probably got it on his PSP.
And I reckon that he's a big X Factor fan as well.
Do you?
It's like a guilty pleasure, but it's so rubbish, but it's marvellously camp.
Yes.
He would say just before he shot you.
When they brought round the basket of lip balm and mints, do you think he had some?
He would have his own balm on his utility belt, wouldn't he?
His own bum?
No, his balm next to his bomb.
Oh.
He's got his bomb, his balm,
right,
all on his bum bag.
It's unlikely that he would get through a transatlantic flight without killing somebody.
You'd think so. He'd go into the toilets and kill them.
Yeah, he'd hide the bodies very stealthily, but you'd notice that there were fewer and fewer people in first class as the flight progressed.
It would be annoying because he'd kill the guy in the toilet, and then you wouldn't be able to use the lav. It would be occupied the rest of the flight until the flight attendants got suspicious.
Do you think he would sleep with one of the ladies
for the Mile Spy Club? Certainly he would. Why wouldn't he?
Well, I wanted to see all that happen in this Bond film.
It didn't.
But none of it happened. There was no killing. There was no sex with... What are they called? The hostesses?
Women, I think they call them.
There was no footage of James Bond watching Lilo and Stitch.
Well, it's not just women stewardesses on those Virgin flights.
Well,
anyway. It's men.
Maybe he's bi-curious.
Right.
It's a new Bond for the noughties.
That would have been a good little...
Would that be a good direction for the franchise to go in?
Definitely. Just a little hint of it, a little sniffle-snaffle.
That would be real progress,
of homoeroticism. That would definitely... I'll give it 10 years. And I will applaud it when I see it.
Really?
I'll stand up and I will applaud. As soon as he starts goosing a male flight attendant, I'll be happy.
It's time for Song Wars, the war of the songs. A couple of tunes by a couple of prongs, so check it out.
Yes, it's Song Wars time, listeners. The regular competition where we pick a theme, go off and record a song each, and then battle them by means of your votes.
That's nicely explained.
Thanks, mate. You never know, might be some new listeners.
Went a bit husky there.
Excuse me, my friend. Oswald.
You guys singing.
Excuse me.
Oh, come on, give
I'd be ever so grateful if you could do me a song. Can you do us a song?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It was TV theme tunes, right? New theme tunes for existing TV shows. Adam did the news and I did Antiques Roadshow. What are you expecting the results to be?
I would confidently predict that you have won. It's a question of how much you have won by. I would say that I'd be lucky to get 10% of the vote.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would be lucky.
Okay, let's see
Let's
what
have
it
a
is.
look. Cornish is opening the envelope.
Adam, 7%.
7?
Joe,
Unlucky
93.
Well,
man, I've had a very bad... You know, you've won the last 5
Certainly.
or 6 in a row.
No,
More even.
Listen, I'm not complaining. I think justice has been done. I'm not going to get all Kanye West on your arse there.
Thank God.
So don't you worry about it.
7 plays 93. That's 7% to 93%.
Don't go on about it.
Sorry.
Thanks.
And here's the winning song, a new Antiques Roadshow theme.
You're bored, it's Sunday 6:15. There's nothing else on the TV.
Check it out now, it's the Antiques Roadshow, looking at old stuff, seeing if it's worth though.
Fiona Bruce hosts the event, which comes this week from Stoke-on-Trent.
Check it out now, it's the Antiques Roadshow, looking at old stuff, seeing if it's worth
Where
though.
did you find this delightful clock? At a marvelously unusual jewelry box. What a stunning lithograph of the Albert Docks. What a beautiful painting of hollyhocks. I just adore this chest of drawers of yours. It's from the Civil War.
Check it out now, it's the Antiques Roadshow, looking at old stuff, seeing if it's worth though.
The sun is bright, the crowd's polite, and mostly white, but that's alright.
Check it out now, it's the Antiques Roadshow, looking at old stuff, seeing if it's worth though. What's on the other side is Britannia High, boy, that show is done back to Channel 1. Here's a farmer with a sugar farmer, man from Ghana with a stuffed llama. Those cufflinks in the expert's hands cost 10 bob, bottle worth 30 grand.
Bring your stuff to the BBC, we'll evaluate your antiques for free. You might even get to be on TV.
There we go. The winning song was song.
Well done.
This week. Thanks. And of course there was a bet that nobody from the Antiques Roadshow would be aware of that song. But then, Adam, you scaled back the bet to say that you bet me £20 that no producer, presenter or director...
At the time, I said producer. You said someone on the credit roll. We can check the podcast. Yeah. But I said producer, presenter, director would be ideal, yeah.
Well, have a listen to this.
Hi, I'm Fiona Bruce, presenter of The News and the Antiques Roadshow, and I heard your songs, and I thought they were brilliant, especially the reference to hollyhocks in the Antiques Roadshow one. Who knows? Could have a new Christmas hit, an unexpected Christmas hit on our hands. I think they're great. Well done.
Fiona. Fiona Bruce.
Fiona, presenter of The News.
She heard our songs.
Oh, she liked them.
She liked them.
Imagine her face while she was listening to them.
That was amazing. That was like, she's so maternal though, isn't she?
She is.
And she treats
I feel
us
like a toddler.
Are we older?
She just congratulated me
we
on
might be
some
older
kind
than
of...
Fiona Bruce.
I'm sure we are.
Yeah.
I feel like she's just congratulated us on making some sort of plasticine.
Finger painting.
Figurine, yeah.
We just got chocolate all over our faces and stuff. We handed her the cassette.
Well done, Adam and Joe. You've done very well.
Well done. That's good. Oh, look, you've done a whole song. That's brilliant.
Anyway, £20.
20. Am I seriously going to have to give you this?
Well,
money?
that's up to you. I mean, there's quite a few people listening. It depends.
But for a radio programme, can I not just make the sound of the... There's the 20 quid.
Look at that. It's a new one as well with the big tin foil strip.
You've got much more money in the bank than I do.
How do you know? There might be, I might have no money in the bank. This might be the beginning of the comeback for me.
I've got 3 children. What have you got? You've got a PlayStation.
Well, let me just hold it for a bit.
There you go.
I've got a PlayStation.
I tell you what, will you buy me something with it?
No, it's a bet, and I won it.
I can't believe...
The point of bets is you honour them if you enter into them, otherwise you're not a gentleman.
I only made the bet as like a funny show-offy thing to do for the radio programme.
It's only £20.
Give it back.
No.
If you don't give it back, then at least buy me something, is what I'm saying.
You can't make demands like this. It's unmanly.
I'm asking you. I'm not demanding.
Well, look, let me hold it. I'll think about it.
Oh, thanks. You got my 20 quid.
What if I tear it up?
You could do. That would be grotesque.
It would be grotesque. It would teach you a lesson, though.
Well,
and it would make great radio.
What lesson would it teach me? It would teach me the lesson of not trying to entertain our listeners by making fun bets. That wasn't the 20 quid. Anyway, listen, folks, while we digest all that, here's some Amy Winehouse. She would be able to spend the £20 in an interesting and fun way.
Vodders.
Here's Back to Black.
Text the nation. Text the nation. A text just come in. Text the nation. Ooh, text.
That's right, this is the part of the show where we ask you to send us texts.
It's as simple as that. And this week, the theme is What superhero powers would you have?
Now listen, we usually offer some suggestions of our own. I found this one a bit tricky.
So did I.
You suggested it.
I know, it seemed like a good idea.
What
at
were
the
you
time.
playing at?
I don't know.
I tell you why, because a lot of people are already all over it.
Right.
The film Mystery Men.
Yeah.
Heroes. Who else does it? I think there's an ITV comedy coming up called No Heroics about superheroes with silly powers.
Gosh. With silly powers, these are.
Well, silly-ish. You know, it's tricky with superpowers, isn't it? They're a tricky thing.
Yeah.
They usually come in a couple of forms. In the world of Stan Lee and that kind of thing, the DC and Marvel world,
Yeah.
they usually either replicate a power that something in the world already has, like an animal, or they're an expression of some kind of internal conflict.
They're usually fairly elemental, like the classic superheroes. You know, they're very strong.
Elemental is a good word. Yeah, they're to do with an animal or a substance.
Yeah.
A spider, iron, that kind of thing, an ant.
But my superhero powers, I was thinking, and I guess this is the way that superheroes are going now, is very specific modern-day powers, like something useful in an everyday context.
Right, like to be able to eject a CD tray.
Ejector.
Ejector?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be quite good.
No one has CD trays anymore, do they?
Don't they?
No, because you're sticking your CD in the computer.
You don't want to know where I stick my CD.
Oh, stop it, will you, please? So I was thinking my superhero would be called Key Wallow, the Locator. And he would be able, just stay with me for a second, to locate keys and wallets.
I can't believe you went with the key gambit.
Key Wallow.
It's good, Key Wallow.
Were you thinking of keys as well?
It did cross my mind. The finding the keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone wants that superhero power. So far, I haven't seen that superhero represented.
So you've got the foot. You've got healing people.
Yeah.
You've got like even making things float, saving lives, and you're going for key locating
and wallets.
It's a very selfish power.
In minutes.
And wallets in minutes. Would you do this for other people? Would you be altruistic, or would it just be for yourself?
Key Wallow can only find his own keys and wallets.
I don't think you need a superpower for that. I think there's something they sell at Argos for that.
Well, there's a thing that you can attach to your keys and you whistle and it beeps at you, but it's no good because it's so annoying that after a day or so you rip it off and you throw it in the bin and then the bin beeps at you thereafter. So Key Wallow the Locator, that would be one of mine.
Why is he called Key Wallow?
Because it's keys and wallets.
Oh, okay.
So I was trying to represent...
Yeah, sorry, it sounded Aboriginal for a second.
I was in real trouble.
Clearly.
Universal Remotron?
I can't believe you thought of this.
I really tried hard.
Adam and Joe. 6 Music. On Radio 2.
You know, one of the nicest things about it getting very cold...
Yeah.
...is its hotty-botty weather.
Hotty?
Hotty-botty.
Oh, hot water bottle.
Yes. Do you not call them hotty-botties? What else is there to call them? Hotbot.
Yeah.
Hotty-botty. How do you refer to them?
Toasty...
boiling liquid sack.
Toasty rubber sack.
Toasty rubber sack. No, seriously, how do you say... Do you use them? Do you...
A hottie. A hottie. Is what my mum used to call them.
I think everybody calls them hotty-botties.
I've never heard hotty-botty.
Come on.
No, because it's misleading. You might be thinking of bottoms. That's what I was thinking of when you said that.
Well,
nice thing about
that's
winter
the frisson.
is your hot bottom. What? Hot botty? Hotty botty? What?
Anyway. Have you had one yet this year?
No, I haven't had one for ages.
I'm talking about a hot bottom.
Yeah, sure. I've got one right now. But no, hot water bottle, I'm not a big fan.
Aren't you?
No. I don't like the heat. I prefer the cold. I rejoice when the winter comes
I know
round.
what you mean, actually. They can get too hot, hotty-botties.
Because then you have to... I'm the kind of person that likes to kick the duvet or the sheets if I'm in a hotel or whatever. Untuck them, certainly, and have my feet sticking out the end. I don't want a big hot thing.
You're right about hotty-botties. They're too hot at first. Why do they say on them, do not use boiling water?
Well, because then it would make it outrageously too hot. Also, if it bursts...
Who doesn't fill a hot water bottle with boiling water?
Well, then for legal reasons,
boil
they're
a
covered.
kettle.
Yeah, of course.
And you pop it in.
Pop it in there.
You've got to be very careful filling them.
Do you try and fill it right to the top?
Well, not only do I fill it right to the top, I don't fill it up so it's bursting.
Yeah.
I fill it with maybe a third of a kettle. And then my dad, when I was a child, taught me to be very careful to squeeze the rest of the air out. So the hot water rises to the lip of the hotty-botty.
It's a dangerous game because
if there's air in it, it'll make it go colder faster.
Sure. But then when you're squeezing, trying to get all the air out...
You mustn't let the hot water spit into your eye.
Sometimes you can squeeze too vigorously.
And then maybe if you're in your gym jams, or maybe nude, you've just gone down to the kitchen in the nude, and you're making a hotty-botty, your whole body is vulnerable.
Yeah. That's very dangerous.
And then the other question is, where does the hotty-potty go in the bed? Do you have it next to your breasticular area? Do you squeeze it between your feet
Between your thighs.
But is that where you put it? Between your thighs?
Generally, yeah.
That's too hot, though. Burn your thighs.
Yeah, but I'm not... This is one thing I was going to ask you. You're not just using the naked rubber bottle, are you?
No, you have to have a cover.
Have you got a bespoke cover, or do you just wrap
covers.
a towel
We
around
have
it?
a lovely floral cover to Hottie Botty number 1. And number 2 is a big pig. We were given it at Christmas. I think my mum gave it to us. It's a big pig with a bow tie.
That's nice. Is it
nice.
Is it furry? Is it fluffy fur?
Oh,
Pink
sure,
fur?
it's fluffy.
I like that.
It's not. He's a very smart pig.
That's a good idea.
But you know what? I find hot water bottles, they're just too hot. I have to have it about 2 feet away from me.
Yeah.
And then heating up a sort of foot square area of the bed, getting it melting the mattress. And then I roll onto that spot.
Very nice.
And move the hot water bottle to where I was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a sort of a hot spot. It's as if Dobby the house elf with a very hot bottom has been crouched on the bed warming it up.
Well, that's revolting.
Why? There's nothing revolting about
the
Dobby.
The idea of Dobby being there in your
Forget
bed.
Dobby. I shouldn't have introduced Dobby.
I mean, maybe
I was
that's
trying to
what,
make a hot bot connection.
Perhaps that's what Harry Potter does. He just doesn't need hot bots anymore because he's got dobbles.
That would be quite disturbing, wouldn't it? Between his thighs.
It's a really cold night. He clamps in between his little
Come on,
magical
Dobby.
thighs.
I'm ruddy freezing in this bed, Dobby. Voldemort's left the window open. Voldemort, is he the head of Hogwarts? He will be by the end of the next film. Voldemort's left the window open. My thighs are ruddy freezing.
He doesn't say ruddy.
He might do, if he's feeling particularly edgy. And Dobby crawls between his thighs.
Clamps in between his thighs.
Oh, thank you very much, Master. Oh, Dobby's bad, Dobby.
You're bad, Dobby. Other way round, Dobby. Your head towards the bottom of the bed, Dobby. Oh.
Here's some music for you.
Naughty Dobby.
Now, we were talking about video games earlier on, and my children, my young sons, have just entered the crazy world of video games. They're getting so into it, these guys, and they're about 4 and 5, my sons. So they've already worked out their little chants. You know what I mean? When they're in there and they're so into it, they have to shout out things. You know, but they're sort of exactly right in tone. But they're just like 5-year-old versions of
Let's have
them. You're going down, Pom Pom.
Pom Pom?
Yeah.
Is that one of their nicknames?
It's a little bit like Pooh Head, which my youngest Natty calls people at the moment. He's going through
insulting.
A stage of calling everyone Pooh Head. But yeah, so instead of saying Pooh Head, he says, you're going down, Pom Pom. He also says, get ready to do a poo.
What does that mean?
He's threatening the enemy in the video game.
Wow.
You better get ready to do a poo, because I'm coming to get you.
That sounds like it needs a little bit of therapy.
Well, no, but when they're that age, they're obsessed with it. Everything's about poo and wee and all that. But then Frank, who's slightly older, is a little more sophisticated. Some of his chants are more psychological. He sort of says, "Oh, would you like to come to a party?" To the enemy, you see, because he's luring them in. And then he's going to bomb them when they're at the party. But he sort of says it with chilling, you know. Oh, and he's really excited. He's like quivering with excitement while he's playing. Oh, would you like to come to a party? Yes! There you go, Pom Pom! Take that, Pooh Head!
Wow.
It's good. What kind of things do you shout out when you're doing Grand Theft Auto?
It's the same. Take that, Pom Pom! I'm going to do a poo-poo on your head, Pom Pom.
Shouldn't have stabbed me, Pom Pom!
Come to my party, Pom Pom. It's a poo-poo party, Pom Pom!
I just noticed this article in The Independent about Ratatouille and the fact that the success of the Disney movie has increased the sales of rats to children. The sales of rats have gone up 50%. Pet rats since the movie's been out, because all the kids want a rat, like the rat in Ratatouille, and who can blame them, because it is a very good film and a nice,
very cute rat,
little cute
voiced
rat
by
in
Patton
there.
Oswalt.
Exactly. Maybe the kids will be disappointed when the rats can't speak and cook, but still they're buying them. Rodent experts say they're incredibly responsive to learning and can be taught to do amazing tricks, much in the same way that dogs can. So why wouldn't you buy a rat? But of course, be careful. Pets at Home warned, "We certainly don't want rats to become the next animal victims of a movie craze," said Mr. Fairburn from Pets at Home. "Everyone saw what happened in the case of Ninja Turtles and the subsequent demand and mistreatment of terrapins and other aquatic reptiles that followed, and we don't want the same thing to start happening with rats."
It's true, isn't it? Did that happen during the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle craze?
Yeah.
What happened? Kids were like disappointed that the turtles couldn't do karate.
Yeah.
So they were like smashing them against each other.
You're not a hero in a half shell, you're just a kind of
Right.
lump.
Is that what happened? If maybe there was some problem with a gang on the block, they would throw turtles at them?
That's right.
Go deal with it, turtles. Kick him in, go on.
Mum, he's ninja nothing, it's just a turtle.
They are merely stamping
What's the point of it? What is the point? Look at the way he moves, it's like a joke. He's moving at about 2 miles an hour.
So what's going to happen with the rat? They're going to kids are going to release the rats into the kitchen and expect them to cook, but all they'll do is eat everything and then plop on it.
And then give them tuberculosis or something.
Wow. So Adam, just a quick bit of advert-related info. What distance do you like your flakes to be visible from?
Well, the flake is a very visible bar because of the yellow wrapper.
No, you've misunderstood me. Your dandruff flakes.
Oh, I see.
What distance do you like them visible from?
I would rather they weren't visible.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you be interested in a product which claims to make your flakes invisible, but that claim is based on visibility of flakes when seen from a distance of 2 feet?
Oh, I see.
Would you be interested in that? Have you seen that advert for the... I don't know whether you've seen it, listeners, for an anti-dandruff shampoo, and it says at the bottom of the screen, claim based on visibility of flakes when seen at distance of 2 feet.
No way.
Yeah.
You'd have to have giant flakes, wouldn't you?
Oh, you mean, right.
2
so
feet.
Without the...
Am I 2 feet from you now? Yes, I am.
Probably more. I'd say that was 3 to 4 feet. A foot is the length of a ruler. A standard ruler, 30 centimetres.
Well, if you did have severe dandruff, I would be able to see it at 2 feet.
Do you think?
Yeah.
No, but not if I used this stuff.
Well, no, hopefully not.
Yeah, but if you came closer than 2 feet, the flakes would begin to appear.
Yeah.
So it's good for first date stuff, isn't it? Because he's not going to come too close, or she.
No.
But then, if it gets down to the nitty-gritty, it's lights off time.
Yeah, but they're saying, listen, we can control very big dandruff, but we can't guarantee to control, like, micro dandruff.
So for this product to be useful to you, you'd have to have really big flakes.
Yeah, quite big flakes.
Yeah.
Like cornflakes.
They're quite big as flakes go.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah. It just conjures up interesting images of, like, dates and dancing on the dance floor. Every time he comes closer than 2 feet, you integrate a little shove into your routine.
Right.
Just to keep him at bay.
Well, you know, the other thing, if you couldn't afford the shampoo in question, would just be to tell people to stay 2 feet away from you at all times.
Or just to stink slightly.
Right.
To encourage flatulence. But and just have a cloud of stench around you.
You could wear like a hoop, you know, with a strap around your shoulders to keep people more than 2 feet away from you at all times.
This is a very good idea.
If you didn't want to buy the shampoo.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
You're listening to your radio. This is the best of Adam and Joe.
This is Adam and Joe here at the Summer Sunday Festival, and the Summer Sunday comes from Leicester. It's a Leicester festival, a Leicesterval, and I've got some Leicester facts for you right now, Joe. Some of these are real, some of them are not real.
I like it. Okay, I'm going to be the judge of which is real and which isn't.
You have to pick them out, right? Okay. Leicester is the home of Walker's Crisps.
Gary Lineker's from Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that Leicester's the home of the crisps. I would say that's not true.
That is a true fact.
Is it true?
They make 10 million bags of the crisps per day.
Really?
Per day. 10 million. Can that really be true? Really? 10 million bags
They
of
only
crisps.
sell 5 a day, though.
Per
and the rest
day.
are landfill.
It's just...
They just put them straight in the bin.
They crunch them up and they build houses out of them.
Yes.
Okay, here's another fact.
So wrong. I've got one wrong.
One wrong.
Wrong.
Fact 2. An unfashionable person in Leicester is known as a Leicester Square.
That's... What sort of a laugh was that?
It might be a true fact, though.
That's true.
That is true. That is true.
That is true.
36% of Leicester is constructed from Lego.
Well, that's actually true because during the war, when there wasn't enough bricks, what they did was they actually shipped loads of Lego from Legoland, which was one of our allies.
In Denmark.
Actually, they did. Legoland sent about 400 soldiers to the Western Front.
Yeah.
It's the First World War I'm talking about.
The Maginot Line was mainly made of Lego.
They weren't that effective. It backfired because
it took ages to build, and they didn't include the instructions.
Well, no, and plus the men were inanimate. But so that's true. And actually, what they did is they got a lot of Lego bricks. So many houses are actually one wall will be made of Lego.
No, that's not true.
Oh,
that's not a true fact.
Not true.
Okay, Leicester was the first place to have traffic wardens.
Now that is true.
Yeah.
Because Leicesterians...
They're called Lesers.
Not sure they are.
It says so on my sheet.
Does it?
That's not true.
Yeah, no, that's true because they're very, very arrogant parkers.
Yeah.
They will park anywhere.
Absolutely right.
And they must be told.
Exactly
and
right.
Fined.
Exactly right. And for that reason, a whole raft of traffic-based laws originated from Leicester. First city in the UK to have traffic lights. And they're supposed to have more traffic lights than any other city because of the outrageous driving style of the Lesers. That's the end of Leicester Facts.
Thank heavens that's over.
You're listening to previously broadcast highlights from the Adam and Joe radio show.
It's time for Song Wars, the war of the songs.
Yes, it's time to reveal the winner of this week's Song Wars. It was Festival Songs. Adam wrote a song called The Festival Song, right?
Yeah.
We shouldn't really go into the names because they're so feeble, and mine was called The Glastonbury Song. I'm guessing you've won. I'm guessing I've got...
It's got to be close.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be like maybe 75.
If it's not close, then there's no
85.
justice.
Yes, it's 75-25. To Adam. Ooh. So let's hear Adam's song again. This is called The Festival Song.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Gazman, it's the Julianator. Just to let you know, I bought the tickets for Sludgefest, as well as Chillax, Wicker World, the Inoffensive Electronica Festival, Wet Weekend, and Pims in the Park with Timbuk3 headlining. Drop us a text if you think I've missed any. Cheers, ears.
Load up the 4x4, it's festival time. We're stuffing the chill bag with nibbles and wine. We're going to sleep inside a collapsible yurt. We've got a nurse in case anybody gets hurt. Festivals used to be awful, just crusties and weirdo groups. There was nowhere to charge your mobile and nowhere nice for doing poops. Now they're often in stately homes with global cuisine that's ace. And you can leave the kids in a really nice creche while you get off your face. Hip hip hooray, it's time for festival fun. We've got our hats and our sun cream in case there's some sun. But when it rains, we've got our green welly boots. And if we feel the love, we've got our birthday suits. Everybody over to the advert stage. Movies on, oh yes. Then it's Groove Armada with the theme from M&S. And then it's a bloke that I don't really know with a tune from a phone campaign. And then it's Suggs with the Iceland song. Then movies on again. And don't forget the Barocca and the yoga mats too, because there's going to be healing and yoga to do. And there's a bloke from Tibet who can teach us to breathe. And after that we'll see Moby, then we'll probably leave. Load up the 4x4, it's festival time. We're stuffing the chill bag with nibbles and wine. We're going to sleep inside a collapsible yurt. We've got a nurse in case anybody gets hurt. Load up the 4x4, it's festival time. We're stuffing the chill bag with nibbles and wine. We're going to sleep inside a collapsible yurt. We've got a nurse in case...
That's it. That's the end of our special Radio 2 compilation show. It's been a great pleasure being on the Radio 2 airwaves, filling in for Jeremy Vine here on New Year's Day.
What a privilege. If you like what you heard, then feel free to tune in to us on BBC Six Music every Saturday morning between 9 and 12. Or you can listen via the BBC Six Music website, or we've got a podcast.
Yeah, it's all there. It's all the good stuff is available, I'm telling you. Listen, I hope your heads aren't too sore after last night's celebrations. And may we wish you a very happy 2009. Bye.
Bye.